Looks like we're live.
Yep, just went live. Cool. Let me share this link with you guys. I'll drop this in our channels. Sweet. Cool. Well, welcome everyone who's joined us from YouTube. We'll just give it a couple more minutes, let some people join in. And Adam, maybe if you want to just stop sharing your screen just for the beginning, no problem. And yeah, we can all chat.
There we go.
Sweet. Cool. Well, yeah, no, really appreciate you guys coming here.
Yeah, we're really happy to be on. You know, it's we've been working with Chainlink for so long. It's great to do finally do something like this.
Yeah, double that.
Yeah, no, you guys are working on quite a bit of stuff. So excited to hear about it. You're calling in from New Jersey too, right, Adam?
Yep, New Jersey, North Jersey. Same as Corey, but we're about 15 minutes apart.
Nice. Yeah, and then so how did you two meet, and how did Dolomite start?
Yeah, we originally met at college, freshman year, same hall, same major, same passion for programming. I mean, I was coming in, I had already been developing for a few years at that point. Corey didn't have much of a background, but he really dove headfirst into all of it. And so, yeah, you know, we did hackathons together. We had started another startup halfway through college together. And we just found that we had this fantastic dynamic working together. And so I had originally gotten into crypto around 2013, and I was in and out for a while. I started it on more of a software side. I guess you could say I was doing code for early altcoin miners, but I don't know, back then it was all very crappy. But you know, yeah, I was in and out for a while. I know Corey had started it when he was using Bitcoin in 2015, and 2017 came around, and we dove headfirst into the trading market. And really, that's the background of Dolomite is, you know, we were trading, we were in pretty early on. We started moving larger and larger amounts between exchanges, and we hated a lot of what existed with centralized exchanges. We hated what was offered with security. There were hacks going on all around. We hated the process of depositing, withdrawing. We hated the KYC requirements, a lot of the exchanges. And so we started looking for alternatives. And Corey came across Loopring and started talking with the team. And I guess the rest is sort of history. They invested in us in early 2018, and we've been building the exchange that we just always wanted to use. So it's not just about building out the best DEX, it's about building out the best exchange. And we really think DEX technology is the best way to approach trading.
Sweet. No, yeah, it's really exciting what you guys are working on. And you guys use the Dolomite exchange for the DMM sale, right?
Yeah, we like using you know, Dolomite as our sort of background for everything we do. It's come into handy a lot of different ways, and we used it, just like you said, for the DMM token sale for DMG. What was nice about it is it let us let users purchase DMG during the sale, but without paying Ethereum transaction fees, without gas wars, because Dolomite's matching engine handled everything. It was just a matter of signing a message, passing it off to our server, and it was all first come, first serve, and Dolomite handled all the transactions on the chain.
Yeah. And on top of that, users were also able to get access to the funds immediately. It was all spot settled on chain. So it wasn't like participate in a sale on some centralized platform and then wait a couple of days for you to withdraw it or deal with any potential loops and hurdles in doing so. It was very handy in that way, and that everything settled immediately, and then people can get access to the tokens right after that and start to use them, leverage them, do whatever that they wanted to do with them.
Yeah, the user experience was pretty incredible, especially compared to like some of the other options. Cool. So yeah, thanks a lot everyone for joining us on YouTube. There'll be some more joining in shortly. If you have questions throughout this, definitely we want to make this engaging. So feel free to drop any questions that you have for Corey or Adam and the Dolomite team into the YouTube chat, and then we'll relay those questions over and get to them. A little bit about the rundown is Corey and Adam have a presentation that they'll give, kind of just a grand overview of everything Dolomite. and the ways that they're working with us at Chainlink. And then we'll jump into a Q&A. So if you have questions, again, feel free to drop them into the chat. Otherwise, yeah, really appreciate you guys joining, Adam and Corey.
Yeah, happy to be here. You want me to jump into the presentation?
Yeah. If you want to go ahead and jump in, that'd be perfect.
Let's see. I have a lot of windows open. Just need to find it. There we go. All right. Can everyone see that? Good to go?
Yep.
Everyone sees that? Awesome. Okay. So, we're Dolomite, and we're going to show you some cool new tech we've been building with Chainlink. There we go. So in case you missed it earlier, our brief background is both Corey and I are the co-founders of Dolomite. We are both also 2 of the 4 co-founders of DMM, or DeFi Money Market. We've been building in the crypto space, at least in the DeFi space, since really before it was called DeFi, back in 2018. But yeah, I've been in the crypto space since 2013, Corey since 2015. Corey, I don't know if you wanted to touch on anything else in your background.
I guess the only other thing was this isn't my first, or Dolomite wasn't my first startup with Adam. Prior to that, I built software for financial advisors over at AXA Advisors, but now they're Equitable since their IPO. So definitely not new to the software engineering scene and being an entrepreneur. It's been pretty exciting to moving into the crypto industry just because of how fast paced it is and the fact that it's so tech centered. We really do feel at home here, and it's been really just a blast being in this industry from a tech perspective, being a user, seeing all the developments happen since the very beginning. So yeah, really excited to be on the call right now with Keenan and Adam.
Yeah, and I'd say not even just the crypto space, but DeFi has blown up since we really got into this.
Yeah.
I remember when we were pitching Dolomite originally back in 2018, we would pitch it where the entire trading volume of all DEXs was $10 million on a good day. And we're saying, no, in a year or two, it's going to be much higher, 100 million, we were, 50% sure that was going to happen. But then when we saw Uniswap break $1 billion not too long ago, really blew us away. So it's awesome how far the space has come. And, this is why we're all so excited to be showing off some of this tech today. So what is Dolomite? In case you're not familiar with us, it's an order book decentralized exchange built on the Loopring protocol on Ethereum. It's built on Loopring v2, if you're familiar with the protocol at all. We combine the efficiency of off-chain order matching with the security of on-chain settlement. So that lets us match orders instantly, and it's all conducted right from your wallet. We don't have any deposits at all. So even if you have a limit order placed, it isn't deposited to a smart contract. It remains in your wallet up until the moment the trade is settled, in which case it does the swap. So we'll talk a bit about DEX margin trading and lending. So DEX margin trading allows you to short and long with up to 5x leverage right from an Ethereum wallet. You may be familiar with a few of the platforms that do it already, like DYDX or Fulcrum. Or DEX. And this type of trading is powered by lenders who earn interest on their funds. So if you're not familiar with it, lenders deposit their funds into the margin protocol, into one of the smart contracts. And traders, when they want to trade with 2, 3, 4x leverage, they borrow from these lenders and are able to trade and earn a higher return on when the market moves. And it's always fully collateralized. It'll liquidate with enough buffer that none of the lenders lose their funds. And yeah, it's really the approach with these. And it's awesome that you could margin trade right from your wallet. But there's still a couple problems with it. It's awesome tech, but it requires a dependable blockchain-based price feed to work, which means it's currently limited to a few assets that trade in high volume on decentralized exchanges. So what we're trying to tackle is that people need a way to trade other assets with leverage in a non-custodial way. So that comes to what we're building. So the idea is we're building a DEX margin trading protocol powered by price feeds from large centralized exchanges. And how do we get those price feeds on chain? They're brought on chain using Chainlink. Oh, what did we do there? There we go. Using these price feeds, we're able to offer on-chain margin trading and lending for any asset that trades on a large enough centralized exchange, including Link. Traders will be able to place margin limit and market orders and manage their orders by adding and removing liquidity, as well as placing set prices for stop loss and profit take. And holders of the token will be able to lend to earn regular interest paid out by margin traders. So this means if you're a Link holder, you could deposit it and earn regular interest from people trading, specifically people actually shorting it. So you can earn money from Link haters who are also using a protocol built on top of Chainlink. And if you're a strong believer in Chainlink, you could open a 5x long position right from your wallet. And if the price goes up 20%, you can earn 100%. So a little look at what we're building here. On the left side, you can see we have an interface for opening a leveraged limit order position, anywhere up to 5x for long. It'll be up to 4x for a short. And you can do it at an exact price or just a market order. And then you'll be able to track all the information of it, as well as add and remove collateral, set stop orders, or rather, what am I looking for? Set stop losses and profit take. And you'll always be able to track the stats, the collateralization, the actual leverage, amount borrowed, and so on. On the flip side, we have the earn page, on which you'll be able to deposit funds to earn interest on any of these assets, as well as many more that we have in mind that we would like to add to the protocol that will be tied to an off-chain price feed from a large centralized exchange. And this is giving us just more price stability than we would have from a decentralized market. Corey, did you want to go into some of the stuff on the back end of it?
Yeah, definitely. So just to kind of walk you through what this looks like from a technological perspective and how it works as an end user. So the user is able to sign a cryptographically secure message that is compatible with our smart contracts, and that gets sent to our relayer cluster. The relayer cluster is essentially like a coordinated set of servers that is basically responsible for message handling, sending data back and forth, handling WebSockets and real-time events, and letting people know what's going on with their order books, their balances, etc. And the relayer cluster then broadcasts that message to the order matching engine, which is done on a first-come, first-served basis. This allows us to minimize any kind of issues with front-running or other nefarious things that a lot of people have unfortunately faced with platforms like Uniswap. Which is why, for example, when you trade on platforms like Uniswap, which settle directly on chain without a trade execution coordinator like an order matching engine, you'll sometimes see it'll say oh, your estimated amount that you should be spending or receiving is this, but they can't actually give you an exact amount. And the reason why is because of those potential issues surrounding front running. So order matching engine actually then will match those messages with other orders, and then it will settle the matches using our loopring smart contracts, which, as the name suggests, was developed by the Loopring Foundation. And the interesting thing with it is how we were actually able to set up margin with this in Chainlink. So everything I described up until this point is actually how we do spot settlement for ordinary trades. And the parts that come after this all revolve around margin and Chainlink. So the smart contracts for Loopring essentially are able to borrow funds with leverage from the margin smart contracts. And the margin smart contracts essentially do all their security checks surrounding collateralization, the ability to borrow funds or not, by pinging the Chainlink Oracle network for the current prices for whatever assets that they are working with and exposing themselves to, whether it's on a borrowing basis or on a supplyment basis. Go to the next slide then, Adam. And then perhaps more interestingly, which is something that we haven't really seen yet, is how we handle something like liquidations. And liquidations are an extremely important aspect to any margin protocol because it is the thing that forcefully keeps your protocol solvent in rough times when there's a lot of volatility. So just to kind of take a step back, what are these liquidations and why are they important? Imagine if you open a position with a long position for ETH and the price of ETH is at $400. If the price of ETH, for example, drops to 200, you might be below water because if you borrowed $200 to get there and your ETH is only worth $200, now all of a sudden you're in a situation where you're almost unable to repay back your loan with the Ethereum that you borrowed. So liquidations come into play in order to forcefully close your position in order to allow the system to remain solvent and recover its funds. And we realized that Chainlink, that's what we realized early on in this process, that Chainlink was the perfect solution for ensuring safe and sound and consistent liquidations. So how does this work? Well, the Chainlink Oracle network, because it's redundant and always running, is able to essentially pull for liquid positions from either the Dolomite relayer via its REST API or other means. And essentially, depending on whether or not there's any liquid positions available, it can then send transactions to the smart contracts to automatically settle liquidatable positions then. And what's very interesting with this is what we've seen in the past is there's a lot of competition, other things that go on, other protocols in order to be able to incentivize liquidators. And we thought that there was almost too much competition amongst it or not enough. If there's not enough, then these systems can go insolvent, which is of course a problem because lenders lose their money. Or if there's too much competition, it leads to gas price hikes, which cause a lot of congestion to happen on chain. And that congestion can then once again lead to transactions not going through and then potentially more insolvency. So a coordinated effort amongst a unified Oracle network is needed to kind of reach a middle ground there, where there isn't too much congestion that causes potential insolvency because transactions can't go through, and also enough redundancy where transactions are always going through just enough and the Oracle network doesn't go down. So we're extremely excited by the prospect of launching something like this with Chainlink because from what we can see, it's a first of its kind and it hasn't been done before. Oh, Adam, you're still muted.
Cool. Yep. So thanks, Corey. To summarize, really our goal here is to enable users to margin trade many assets that are not currently available on decentralized margin trading protocols right now. We make great use of Chainlink to do that. And yeah, we'd love to take any questions on this. The presentation of the tech, we've wanted to move through fast enough that we could really hear what you guys are wondering. We know that no one else is really building anything like this right now, but we think this will be the future of margin trading on decentralized exchanges.
Sweet. Well, yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for that presentation. I think that's really insightful. One question that I have is, when is it live? Can people go and be able to use it?
Not quite yet. We're in the testing phase. We want to make sure everything is rock solid before we get it out there. We're working off of some existing smart contracts, but we want everything from the interface to the smart contract to be as smooth as possible. And we'll be continuing to add things to this. Right now, Dolomite only has support for MetaMask, but we'll be expanding to a much larger range of wallets. Right now, the earn page is mobile supported, for example, but the trading right now on Dolomite is only on the desktop. But we're looking to get the whole thing up within a couple weeks, really. It's right there at the finish line, and we'd love to push it over that and get people on.
Very cool. So it sounds like it's really close. Yeah, I'm curious, and like either of you guys can answer this. What are your thoughts with like something like the layer 2 and Eth 2.0? How is that going to kind of affect anything, if at all, on Dolomite?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So we love the prospect of layer 2 because it lowers gas fees to the point where they're essentially non-existent. And that's a great thing for us because right now we offer fee abstraction. So right now the end users don't actually pay with ETH to broadcast their trades and to settle them. Instead, we essentially take out a fee when the trade is actually settled because we're paying it for the user. We would love to eliminate that fee completely. So the only thing that people are paying are trading fees or the commission that we take when trades are matched and settled, which is the really good side of things. The bad side of things, though, is right now we offer a lot of integrations into other exchanges out there. So users can source their own liquidity on the exchange itself, but we also source liquidity from other platforms like Uniswap and Oasis DEX. And it's unfortunate, but depending on how the layer 2 surface area kind of plays itself out, there could be a circumstance where everything becomes siloed, if not done properly. So that would mean that Dolomite liquidity would only be able to match against Dolomite liquidity, as opposed to other platforms as well. So there's definitely a push and a pull there, but we're hoping to see the community, the development community, and these protocols and businesses conglomerate and circle around a particular layer 2, so they can all interface and interact with each other still.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. And so like, if there's a bunch of different layer 2s in these DeFi platforms, one takes off on Matic, one takes off on Arbitrum, one takes off on another one, are they still going to be able to talk with each other, or is that going to need like some sort of solution itself in order for like a platform like Dolomite?
So like things that are built on top of Matic, for example, should be able to interact with each other more easily than things that are built across different layer 2s. The layer 2s that I've seen so far, especially depending on how they do it, whether it's ZK rollup or optimistic rollups or other things like that, don't have ways that are built right now to interact with each other at all. And I can imagine that if they do build a solution that does allow them to interact, it won't be like an instantaneous settlement sort of thing where you send funds from one to the other and it immediately is debited on one and credited on the other. I think that you'll see a situation where it takes time to confirm the movement of funds across both of them because they're not compatible with each other directly or natively, which is an unfortunate side effect of the layer 2 situation. I think that ETH 2.0 in general, especially as things like sharding come out, will be a more native solution to this. But once again, the DeFi community circling around a particular layer 2 solution could also alleviate this as well.
Cool. Yeah, that's really, really useful information. I see a great question here from Zach. He says, it's awesome that you guys chose to use Loopring to get layer 2 speeds. What was the integration process like with their smart contracts and putting this into Dolomite?
Well, first of all, just to be clear, right now we're not actually on top of Loopring's layer 2 because that's on top of their layer 2 smart contracts, which are a bit too restrictive to offer things like margin and other capabilities that we have being built at the moment. So we're on top of Loopring version 2 as opposed to Loopring version 3. Version 3 is their layer 2 solution. Versions 1 and 2 were still on top of layer 1 Ethereum. But the overall integration with their smart contracts was not easy, to be honest. It's very technologically heavy because at the moment they did a lot of things in order to be able to make settlement more efficient on layer 1 and to minimize gas fees that are paid. So they do a lot of dynamic packing of data, which requires a lot of very skillful and very careful programming in order to be able to get it right, because the debugging process for it is, I don't want to say impossible for it, but it's very binary. Either you get it right or you don't. And if you don't get it right, it doesn't tell you why it's wrong. So it's not easy, but the reward for it and the payout is pretty big. Certainly have to have a lot of patience for it.
Got it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What about with like the Chainlink integration? What was that experience like?
Much easier in comparison. The documentation on all the Chainlink related stuff is extremely easy. And even things that like were more abstract, like our liquidations related liquidation stuff, was also pretty easy because it's done in a very reproducible and easy to follow manner. So on the smart contract side, it was kind of like bread and butter because it's just basically getting very easy numbers from their contracts, and then what you do with them is kind of like the hard part. But getting access to it was really easy, which is definitely a great thing. So yeah, we could definitely acknowledge why there's such strong network effects in the Chainlink community, because it's certainly very easy to integrate with.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's great working with you guys too. So yeah, anything that we can do to help you guys, I'm glad that was a nice experience. I'm curious what you guys think, just like and generalized on like the DeFi market where it stands right now. Obviously, the past 2 months have been got a little rough for some people, but it seems to be like a lot more products are kind of becoming more full and ready to actually be used on like a higher scalability. I'm curious what you guys kind of think of everything that's happening.
My take is that it's similar to 2017 in that there was a lot of hype. There's plenty of not high quality projects out there, but the ones that are high quality are still able to raise funds during these periods because a lot of money rushes into the space, just like 2017. And then things die down, prices drop, but people are building. Then nothing went away. These projects got funded. People are still building. Things take time. Nothing comes out overnight as much as people who are trying to pump a token price wish it would. But that's not the case. So right now, things are going to be a little lower, but things are going to start releasing faster and faster. Everything that's been in development, and we're going to see DeFi growing more and more. This is just the beginning of things.
Cool. And yeah, I mean, like, so like on like, you know, there's a couple different like chains. So you got like Ethereum, and all the others. Do you see like Dolomite staying completely on Ethereum, or maybe like opening up with like other sort of blockchains?
And we've definitely discussed a few. Sorry, Corey, go ahead.
Yeah, like I think for the most part, I think our home base is always going to stay on Ethereum. Maybe people will use layer twos that kind of, or layer ones that kind of more so act like layer twos that are for Ethereum. Like I think like Solana is interesting, but what's really interesting with it is they also have this thing that they made called Wormhole, which essentially allows you to trustlessly move funds from Ethereum to Solana, and it's done in a very I guess compatible way that makes it feel like more of a layer two than it does feel like its own chain. So we're exploring other options to see what's out there, acknowledging the fact that while you do get the speed benefits and the gas prices benefits, there's still going to be that drawback of losing the community pooled liquidity from other other venues. So we're constantly trying to figure out what's going, evaluating the situation to see as the market shifts what's going on with it and see what direction it makes sense to take things, acknowledging that there's going to be some lead time for development.
Yeah, currently the network effect and development resources on Ethereum are just too appealing, but we
Yeah.
always have our eyes open, and eventually I think something might be worthwhile, at least to be on both platforms.
Cool. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. See someone in here, deploy Dolomite contracts on Avalanche C chain ? Yeah, there's definitely a lot of new chains popping up, so it'll be interesting. But I definitely agree with the network effects, and seems development's getting it's starting to take its place as a lot more developer friendly. I mean, it always was, but I mean even more so now, as I even start learning Solidity and building dApps on Ethereum. A question here, what, and this is not really related to Dolomite, but it could be kind of going off that last question. What is one tool that's not out there, or one type of application that would make your guys' life easier, whether that be developing or just in general in the DeFi space?
That's a good question. I don't know, Corey, you have anything off the top of your head?
Yeah, I think that if there was a way to coordinate transactions amongst potentially competing things, it would certainly make user experiences a lot better. For one, I think that it can sometimes be really aggravating, as as not just the person who helped create Dolomite, but also I still like to use other DeFi applications like Uniswap being one of them. It could sometimes be really aggravating when you're trying to put a trade through on Uniswap and it keeps failing. Because either getting front runned or you're not putting the gas price high enough and the price changes, whatever it might be. And having some entity responsible for taking all these transactions and broadcasting it itself in a first come first served basis, or at least some consistent manner where you can get more reliable execution would be a lot better. And this would allow us using platforms like Dolomite to also better predict or see where our shared liquidity is whenever we're trying to match Dolomite orders against something that could be on, for example, on Uniswap or on Oasis. It's one of those things where it sounds like more of an edge case, but it happens more often than we'd like it to. And having a more elegant solution to it would definitely be welcome to not just us, but our community.
Very cool. No, that's very, very useful information. I think there's some entrepreneurs out in the audience that are thinking about that too. Cool. If people want to follow Dolomite and your progress and join the community, where's the best place for them to go?
You can find everything you need right on dolomite.io, spelled just like this, .io. And we're Dolomite_IO on Twitter. We will mostly put things out on our Twitter page, or Twitter account rather. But we're also on Telegram if you want to reach us directly, or hit us up on email.
Sweet. I'll make sure to drop those links for everyone in the description after this. I also just dropped the website link into the chat here.
Awesome.
I mean, outside of developing and working on all your guys' projects, is there anything else that you guys do for fun?
Not much besides developing these days, especially with the virus around.
Yeah.
I suppose some gaming online. I just recently built a new gaming rig. I've been trying a lot of VR stuff. That's been, I was thinking about how we could put Dolomite into VR. I figured that's the future right there, is crypto trading in virtual reality. How do you get more 2020 than that?
Yeah, you can ride the candlestick chart.
Right. No, yeah, it'll come. I mean, people have been talking about the VR thing for 3 or 4 years, being like, this is the year, but I think it
Oculus Quest 2, that's what's going to push it to the broader market. That's going out $300 for a standalone console that anyone could buy this Christmas. I think that's going to be really what explodes the market.
Yeah, I have to keep an eye on that. Well, cool, guys. I really appreciate you guys taking the time and joining us. I know the community really enjoyed it. Got a lot of thank yous here in the chat for you guys. I'll make sure to drop
us on.
What's that?
Thanks for having us on. This was great.
Yeah. No, of course. This was a lot of fun. Is there anything else before we take off that maybe we didn't touch that you guys want to say?
I get everything I wanted to say. Corey, you got anything else?
I don't think so. Just excited to see the Chainlink community be able to really see some really cool things in action, especially some stuff that hasn't been done before or hasn't been configured in this way. I think that the Chainlink community is pretty awesome, and love to see new interesting ways that Chainlink, which can be an abstract thing, be used in a less abstract way. So it'll be cool to see this stuff in action.
100%. Yeah, we're really excited. So hopefully, once you guys launch, maybe we can come back here and do it again and have some more questions when people are using it. Do you guys have a beta happening right now?
Well, sort of like a more of a private beta with just a few of our dependable testers. I mean, I guess if you've got a lot of experience testing projects, feel free to hit us up. We just want to make sure it's stable before we really get it out there. Dolomite is still considered in beta right now. Once we have everything to a degree that we'd like it to be, we'll remove the beta label and really officially launch. But really, once we launch, we'd just love to have some people on, get some deposits in there, and get people earning some interest on their link.
Sweet. Well, appreciate it, guys, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Sounds good.
All right,
Have a good one.
Thanks, Keenan, and thanks, guys. Speak to you soon.